Track about 3.5 hours ago.
Well, they're in for a great track. We love coming to Kansas Speedway as a driver because, you know, this track is super fast and it's really challenging. One of the most challenging things about it, Jamie, particularly today for the truck race, is how the weather's going to change. We're right at that sunset period. The track's going to continuously adjust. And as a driver, you're going to have to adjust. The crew chief's going to have to adjust to make good lap times around here. And you're probably going to have to run some lanes on the track that aren't super comfortable, Michael.
And you're going to do it at 180 miles an hour down in these corners. And 2 and 3, I guarantee you before this race is over, we're going to call out 4 wide. That's how intense the racing is here. And the fact that the turns are variable banked. You can go right up next to that outside wall or run down at the bottom. There's so many options for the drivers, and that's what drivers love, being able to take a truck and drive where they ain't, pass somebody where they're not running, and that's what we're going to see tonight. It's going to be great.
Michael, earlier, I mean, every driver we heard from, they were so excited to be here. They love racing here. And, you know, we do have 2 Cup drivers in the field, Carson Hosevar and William Byron. Byron is one of 2 cars, trucks going to the rear. He's got his work cut out for him, but it can be done.
Absolutely. This is a track you can pass at. I'm sure William was really excited to see him pass those cars. He wants to pass them trucks. That's a lot of fun as a driver. But
opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, please rise as you're able. Remove your hats and veterans render a hand salute as the Nevada High School Junior ROTC Color Guard presents our nation's colors. Here to offer tonight's invocation, please welcome from the Chief Ministry Office for Unconventional Business Network, Pastor Mike Willich.
Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful weather you brought to us tonight. Thank you for this beautiful track, the racers, their teams, those behind the scenes, and these amazing fans. Father, we ask that you would watch over everyone on and off the track, grant them safety and sportsmanship. And God, would you please grant us tonight some entertainment and unity. It's in the mighty name of Jesus that all God's race fans said, amen and amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome Connection Point Church.
Oh, say can you see the
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is live NASCAR time yet again, and here this weekend it is time for the NASCAR Kansas Speedway race for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series on a Saturday night under the lights in Kansas City, Kansas. And as we get set for this race here today, we are going to go through your starting lineup for tonight's running of what is now the 9th race already of the Truck Series season, and tonight's the Heart of Healthcare 200. Almost forgot the title sponsor for the race there for a second. Heart of Healthcare 200 here tonight at Kansas. Jake Garcia will be starting on the pole. A lot of great qualifying efforts for him so far this season. Another one here today starting at the front of the field. And Corey Heim, who's won the last 2 truck races at Kansas, trying to go for 3 in a row. He's the odds-on favorite to win the race, even with a slightly stacked field. A couple of Cup regulars going to try to take him down. We'll get through that in a moment. Ty Majeski will line up inside of row number 2. He's still looking for his first win of the year and the first win for Thor Sport Racing in 2025. Starting to his outside will be Carson Hosevar, first of 2 Cup regulars in the field today. Hocevar in the 7 truck for Spire Motorsports. And row number 3 will be Ben Rhodes and Raja Karuth. Row number 4 will be Caden Honeycutt with Dawson Sutton. Tanner Gray, Gio Ruggiero will line up in row number 5, and then in row number 6 will be William Byron with Tyler Ankrum. Byron does have to drive to the rear for the start of the race today, so we'll have to see him come from the back to the front. Obviously, will he be the other Cup regular in the field other than Carson Hocevar? In row number 7 will be Chandler Smith and Andres Perez. Smith looking for win number 2. Perez still looking for his first career win in the Truck Series. Grant Enfinger still searching for his first win of the season, as well as Lane Riggs. He'll line up in row 8. Behind them in row 9 will be Bailey Curry with Matt Mills, and then Stuart Friesen and Connor Mosack in row number 10. In row number 11, Jack Wood with Daniel Hemrick, Luke Baldwin, and Brandon Jones will line up in row 12. Row number 13 for Matt Crafton and Tony Breidinger. Row 14 for Cody Dennison and Spencer Boyd. Nathan Bird with Frankie Muniz in row number 15. And row 16, rounding out our 31 truck field here today, will be Morgan Baird. So that is the starting lineup for tonight's Heart of Healthcare 200 at the Kansas Speedway, a 134-lap race, 200-mile event. Stages 1 and 2, each only 30 laps in length. Stage 3 will be 74 laps, making up the finish of the event. Thank you all for tuning in here for this one. William Jeanette, welcome into the stream. You're the first in the chat down below. Anybody else that I see popping into the chat for the first time in this stream, whether you were in the stream earlier today for NASCAR Cup Series practice and qualifying, or just tuning in for the first time to our KRC Productions for today's events, I will be sure to do so. You can vote for who you think is going to win in our chat poll. That voting poll will close at the end of stage. Corey Heim leading the way at 36%. 27% say somebody other than Heim, Byron, or Hocevar will get the win tonight. Hocevar and Byron each with 17% of the votes. Also highlighting the point standings coming into tonight's Truck Series event. Of course, last weekend at the Texas Motor Speedway, Corey Heim was able to get his 3rd win of the season. Sits him with 5 top 5s and 7 top 10s on the year as well. He's led the most laps in the series, 442, and he has the most stage wins. He is the current points leader by 46 over Chandler Smith, and a full race worth of points and almost a race worth and a half of points ahead of 3rd, which is Daniel Hemrick. Hemrick is 80 points back. Then you have Tyler Ankrum 4th, and Ty Majeski rounds out the top 5 in points. Each of the top 4 in the standings are the only truck regulars with a win this year that have locked themselves into the 10-driver playoff field. And for the 6 positions, I should say, that are in on points, if the playoffs would have began tonight, would be Ty Majeski, Grant Enfinger, Jake Garcia, Lane Riggs, Caden Honeycutt, Ben Rhodes. Rhodes has the final spot in points over Stuart Friesen, who comes into this race with 3 straight DNFs after a very good start to the year, has just fallen back in the point standings very, very fast. We'll see if Friesen can get back going in the right direction today. He's had fast trucks the last few weeks, but taken out in an accident, whether it's his own doing or not. He was actually battling side by side on a restart for 2nd place late last weekend at Texas, and unfortunately the truck underneath him got loose, slid up into him, took both him and Chandler Smith out of the race, who were basically the innocent bystanders in that crash. Definitely going to need a big luck of turnaround here today to get things back going in the right direction. Otherwise, Stuart Friesen could be in danger of missing the playoffs 2 years in a row, which is crazy to think because he was in the championship 4 the season before that. Sid Vick and Lincoln Kim Hollingsworth, welcome into the stream as well. I seem a little bit out of it. I'm just run down because of my allergies here today, so bear with me as best as we possibly can as we get into tonight's coverage. Here's the command to fire engines.
In motorsports, take it away, Dr. Michelle Dew.
Drivers, start your engines.
I like that she added the Ric Flair woo at the end of that. Russell Guerre, welcome to the stream as well. He's pulling for Brandon Jones. That's an interesting series win here at Kansas Speedway, but obviously in the trucks, we'll see how he fares here tonight. I believe for Tricon Garage in the number 1. Seen Jones run several truck races so far this season, but he hasn't had, I would say, race winning speed, not up in contention for the wins in those races, but maybe tonight can be different. He is starting in the back half of the field. And we'll get to see him with a couple others starting deeper in the field, trying to make their way to the front of the pack and what is deemed as better equipment than those around them for the start. Usual setup again this weekend. I was on the road at Talladega and Texas Motor Speedway the last couple of weeks. And I was actually away from home for about a week and a half or so. Just got back a little earlier in the week. So our usual setup, obviously, for what you see behind me. And we will have our diecast showing, of course, at the end of Stage 2, which we have not done on the channel since Talladega. And again, I wasn't here for the Cup race specifically at Talladega, but that was the last time we actually had this setup in streaming for pre-Dega Cup race. Had a triple header that day with the ARCA Xfinity races and kept qualifying in the morning. Congratulations again to Kyle Larson for getting his third pole of the season. First in his Cup career at Kansas a little bit ago. That stream wrapped up just over an hour before the start of this one. My pick tonight is going to be Corey Heim. I'm content with basically taking him on every mile and a half track this season, unless maybe Kyle Larson's in the field, which is what I did back at Homestead. He just leads so many laps on these mile and a half tracks. Crazy. He's won this race the last 2 times. We'll see if he can go for 3. Xfinity Series again is off this weekend, but tomorrow's NASCAR Cup Series race will begin on our channel live at 2:30 p.m. Eastern, 11:30 p.m. Pacific. Or a.m., I should say, not p.m. 2:30 p.m. Eastern, and then Pacific time, 11:30 a.m. We'll get back to trivia. We haven't had trivia on the channel in just over 3 weeks because being at the last 2 Cup races, they had the off week the week before that on Easter Sunday. So usually we go live about a half hour to 45 minutes for the drop of the green flag for every Cup race. We'll do some trivia, pre-race predictions, who I think is going to run well, not run well, based on the stats that I pulled leading up to the race that weekend, both at track, how they've ran so far this season, and other statistical data to look at. We'll highlight the Fantasy League, which you can join for free on the NASCAR mobile app or NASCAR.com website. And see what that's looking like, because it's been a few weeks since we've been able to at least highlight that on the channel. Very warm here today at Texas Motor Speedway. 80 degrees, 115 degree track temp. It's hot, it's slick, it should be fun.
It's got to be. I mean, you threw the first pitch for the game last night, Kansas City Royals. You won this race last year. You won last week. Tell us, what is it like to be Corey Heim right now? It looks pretty good.
Yeah, man, I hope they got a fast 6.2 training pro here. We've been so good on these intermediate racetracks, and obviously look to keep it going tonight here in Kansas, one of my favorite places. We've been raced out here in the past as well, so yeah, definitely feels good to be in my seat right now with this program that we got here at Chuck On Garage, but got to go and execute. That's the main thing.
Well, we wish you luck. Can't wait to watch. Have a great race.
Appreciate it.
Well, Michael, how about the guy who finished second to Corey Heim here in the fall, Lane Ricks?
Lane Riggs, it's Michael Waltrip and the Fox team. Do you copy, bud?
Yes, sir. Got you guys loud and clear.
Well, I love that Loves truck, as you know. You've got your work cut out for you starting outside the top 10, but this is a racy track. Will you go up high, down low, or wherever it takes?
I'm going wherever those boys are. A lot of back clean air at this racetrack. It's wide. We can run all over, and one of my personal favorites on the schedule. So great to be here in the heartland. The Loves truck does look great. I know these is off the stands and near their home quarters, so just, yeah, I hope to be here in Kansas. I know this is kind of a treat-off place for qualifying. Usually the guys that qualify really good or usually don't have quite as much downforce, so hopefully it'll play right into our hands.
All right, buddy. We're looking forward to watching. Have a great race.
Thank you, guys. Hopefully talk to y'all later.
I like his positive attitude and outlook for the night. Let's take a look now at the starting grid sponsored.
All right, we've already done that. Once I get the track description out there, I'll let you guys have a listen, or at least I'll read off whatever I haven't already mentioned to you guys, which I have gone through most of it already. Only other things that I can add, pit road speed 45 miles per hour with the stage lengths in stage 1, stage 2. They will not have to pit for fuel or tire purposes. We may see pit stops depending on how cautions lay out if we see any for incident in the first 2 stages. The mile-and-a-half tracks for the Truck Series this season, we haven't seen a lot of cautions until we got to Texas a week ago with that slick racetrack underneath the Texas sun. Slick racetrack here tonight. We'll see what Kansas Speedway will bring for the Truck Series, but we did have double-digit cautions, 10 of them last weekend, in a 250-mile race at Texas. This race, of course, 50 miles shorter in length, but even still, it's going to get wild, especially on the restarts. This track is very wide for a mile-and-a-half racetrack. Multiple grooves. You'll see them using the apron all the way down to the grass in the middle of the front stretch. They get to the center of the corner. We're going to see guys riding the wall at some point throughout the course of the race, many times throughout the course of the race. Slide jobs. It's basically an overgrown dirt track. Kansas Speedway and Homestead is, I don't like to think of overgrown dirt tracks on the NASCAR schedule. Kansas Speedway has been my favorite mile-and-a-half track for a little bit now. Really, ever since the Next Gen started racing here, I felt like, at least for the Cup Series, this has been the best mile-and-a-half track. And it seems like every year it just keeps getting better and better and better. And last year's going to be tough to top, considering it was the closest finish in NASCAR history. But my favorite races to call of the year on the channel have been the last 2 spring Kansas races. So we'll see if we go 3 for 3. Although Atlanta was pretty solid too, so. See what Atlanta ends up bringing again later this summer. Highly anticipated. Our like goal for tonight's stream will be 50, just like we did earlier. We did hit our goal during the Cup Series practice and qualifying stream, so hopefully we hit it again here. We are at 19. Still waiting for the race to begin. And we are on the warm-up laps. And I think the field will be getting the 1 to go signal this time by. 17 to 20 degrees of bankings in the corners. Front stretch is banked 9 to 11 degrees top to bottom. Longest back straightaway of any mile-and-a-half track on the NASCAR circuit, which creates for high speeds. And again, with the temperature the way it is here today at Texas, really all weekend, it's going to be hot. It's going to be slick. 50 to 55 laps is tonight's fuel window. And again, that will really only come into play in stage 3. Especially if we do go green all the way through the final stage, which we have had a couple of green flag pit stops on the mile-and-a-half track so far this season for the Truck Series. Stage 3 as well. Frank Powers, welcome into the stream. Once again, Jake Garcia is on the pole, and he has elected the inside lane for our initial start of tonight's event. Got a couple of teammates for Thor Sport Racing right behind him. Majeski and Rhodes. Here's to see how aggressive they're going to be right off the rip. Are we going to see a lot of 3 and 4 wide action on the opening lap? Definitely think we'll see 3 wide. These guys start deep in the field. They're going to try to get through there as quickly as they can. William Byron being one of which. Dropping to the rear for the start of the race after qualifying just outside the top 10. Practice and qualifying took place a little bit earlier this afternoon. Their session ended up beginning a little over 4 hours from where we're at right now. All right, Jake Garcia leads us through the restart zone. Green flag is in the air, and he might get a penalty. Coming to the start, he just jumped down to the apron well before he got to the start-finish line, so I'm sure that will get looked at. But we are underway here today at the Kansas Speedway, and already contact into the first turn. Tyler Ankrum up against the wall. After the 98 of Ty Majeski got beat around by a couple of trucks that he was 4 and 5 wide with going into the first turn. That was after Jake Garcia spun his tires on the start. He got hit from behind pretty hard by Majeski. And then obviously went down under the apron, came back up at the last second. There's another truck in the top 10 that's got a tire rub on the left side, and I can't tell if that's Ankrum or maybe somebody else. See if that's going to lead to any unscheduled pit stops in the opening lap or so. It's Dawson Sutton in the 26, by the way, who's got the smoke. Right front tire seems to be flat on the 98 of Majeski. He's on pit road at the end of the first lap. Left rear tire rub on the 26 of Dawson Sutton has dropped him already outside of the top 10. We'll see if he comes to pit road soon. He's stuck on the outside right now, and he's looking very, very loose in his race truck. Loses several positions in the opening laps. So Corey Heim is going to lead the opening lap of the race here tonight under green, and he has led now the first 2 laps as he grows his lead out by just over half a second ahead of the pole sitter Garcia. Sutton very slow on the back straightaway, and I think his tire is down now. We still stay green for the moment, but he is very slow. And he's trying to get to the bottom of the racetrack. Gets to the apron. And it's sliding around from him, and it's going to get out from underneath him. Sutton spins coming into the pits with that flat left rear tire. And the caution flag will come out for the first time here this evening. Raja Kruth was able to get up to the second place position right before the caution came out on Jake Garcia. Caden Honeycutt just creeped into the top 5 at the last second there as well.
Right. We could have just won 3 laps, and there was contact every corner, tires smoking, and
This whole booth is catching its breath, too, from that crazy start. And you know who that was a huge break for, Brad? Tom Majeski. He only lost 1 lap, got a tire, got back on the track. He's going to get the free pass here.
he'll be back in this race.
So Corey Heim is now officially led in every race this year. There's the issue for the 26. Tries to hang on to it. Around he goes. We are under caution.
Definitely an impressive streak. Yeah, there were quite a few cars that had gotten a little dinged up on that opening lap, getting up to speed into the first turn, and I could see quite a few drivers coming to pit road to make sure they don't have any tire rubs, like a Tyler Ankrum, obviously Dawson Sutton bringing out the caution. Ty Majeski was already on pit road, and there was probably a couple others in there that had contact as well. Ben Rhodes fell out of the top 10 after starting fifth, so he might have a slight bit of damage. Corey Heim, though, leading our opening laps here tonight at the Kansas Speedway. Under the caution as he's out in front, we'll have Raja Kruth lined up behind him, or probably with him on the front row for the next restart. Then you got Jake Garcia, Carson Hocevar also up in the top 4. Caden Honeycutt in 5th. Grant Enfinger 6th. Chandler Smith and Tanner Gray 7th, 8th. Remo, welcome into the stream. Well, very early, we're under our first caution here tonight at the Kansas Speedway. Just a few laps in. We'll take our first break. You're listening live on KRC. A lot of racing still to go. 200-mile race, and things got wadded up quickly. Surprised it wasn't a big crash. I did spot 5 wide somewhere in there. Right when Majeski got slowed up, he was in the middle. He had 2 cars above him and 2 cars below him. Trucks, I should say. This is a truck race after all. Hope I'm doing well. Allergies are kicking my butt for about the last day or two, but other than that, yeah, doing pretty good. Probably be dealing with it tomorrow too during the stream, so just bear with me for the rest of the weekend if I sound a little bit nasally. Maybe more so than what I might already sound. Doc, welcome into the stream. IndyCar's gone 400 laps in St. Pete, or since St. Pete. Without a yellow NASCAR truck's 3 laps. Yeah. Welcome to the Truck Series. That's crazy. By the way, that they've gone that many laps without a caution.
Today, lap number 3. Now, it all began on lap number 1. A lot of contact here.
Well, I think Jake Garcia is holding back. Maybe going to get a little bit of a late start in the box to try to get an advantage. But you see right there, bam, into the back of Jake with Majeski, shoved him off the road. NASCAR said because he got back on the road and did not improve his position, they did not penalize him for that. But then, Brad, things get a little bit crazy.
Yes, we're going to see 3 wide. Ben Rhodes gets underneath Ty Majeski. Carson Hocevar turns down, and when he does, they make contact. Damage to the 7 on the left rear, damage to the 98 on the right front, damage to Tyler Ankrum in the wall in that 18, the 34 Lane Riggs. He makes contact with Grant Enfinger. All these trucks are now damaged.
You know what I loved? I said we'd see 3, 4 wide. Well, we saw 5 wide in the first turn, and watch what happens to Ankrum. Shoved up by Dawson Sutton into that outside wall, but he was able to keep going.
And Dawson Sutton, he loses a tire, causes this yellow. You can see where that contact came from. There's a lot of tore up trucks on the first corner of the first lap here at Nickel.
So Tyler Ankrum pitted from 20th. Carson Hocevar came in and pitted from 4th. So let's get an update on Majeski, Josh.
Yeah, well, you saw the issue at the start of the race with the 98, got back into the back of the 13th, caused some damage to that right front. The tire went down. He came into pit to get that fixed, but they didn't fix the damage, went back out, and the right front went down again. So he's actually going to have to come back in and pit to address that. They're going to do that with about 1 to go, Amanda.
Yeah, it was a conservation strategy for Brian Patty as he brought in Carson Hocevar. I got over here. He had his head looking to the sky in disbelief. That left rear on that truck was bent in and said, I just can't risk losing a tire in this race early on. We're going to need all of these tires considering of what's ahead in this race tonight.
Okay, so we're under caution because Dawson Sutton had gone around at the entrance to pit road. NASCAR is now holding him 2 laps for intentionally bringing out that caution.
Wow, we haven't seen that penalty in quite some time. NASCAR does not want to interfere with the pace of the race. They obviously feel like he did, in spite of him having a flat tire. And this is a strong message to the field, not just today, but the fields that you'll see in the NASCAR Xfinity Series and in the NASCAR Cup Series. And what they're trying to say is, very intently here, we do not want to see you purposely cause yellows. Now, I'm not entirely sure, Jamie or Michael, if he did this on purpose, but NASCAR feels they did it, and that's what matters.
Well, what could be the case, too, is, they monitor the radios. If there was some communication that instructed him to do that, well, then they're definitely going to bring you in and penalize you. And you can see NASCAR's holding him now. And then what about this action? We got Ankrum on pit road. We got Majeski on pit road. We've had Hocevar there. Oh, by the way, we're only 7 laps into this baby.
Yes, a lot of tore up trucks here. All of them, I don't think any of them have critical damage, Michael, but all of them have enough damage to where they have tire rubs, different things going on that are going to affect the rest of their day. They've got this opportunity to fix it, and they're taking advantage of that. Like we were talking with Josh, he did pop a second tire. So when we go back green here, which we will, looks like this time by, they need to make sure that thing is not rubbing again.
I think they've taken a lot of time to do just what you said, Brad, and get a lot of clearance on that right front. Bringing in another Goodyear Eagle there.
I just can't believe Ty Majeski's luck at this racetrack, Michael. We talked about it. He did earlier. He said, I know this is about my worst 1.5-mile track, but we're turning things around in the lap number 1.
We can put all this behind us, Brad. Something happens early. Get back on the lead lap. You can overcome.
Got a shot. You got a shot. We'll have to see if Ty can dig out. He's still on pit road. It looks like he's going to lose that another lap, so that's going to be hard. But these guys are ready to go back racing.
NASCAR is holding Majeski for fueling twice, so he will be held 1 lap as the leaders make their way out of turn 4.
I didn't think that was the rule, but all right. Here we go. Green flag is going to be back in the air. Corey Heim is going to lead us to the green on the restart. Goes down, which is legal. Raja Karuth running way up the racetrack into the first turn. Almost ran the 45 up into the wall of Caden Honeycutt, who was right there. And now Karuth's 3 wide middle down the back straightaway and still losing time. I don't know what happened to Raja Karuth, but he goes from the 2nd place position on the restart to falling almost out of the top 10. Regathered himself right around 6th place. And Chandler Smith is going to jump up to that 2nd place position instead now. Honeycutt, who almost got squeezed into the wall trying to go 3 wide to the outside of Karuth and another truck underneath him, is up to 3rd. And Honeycutt's been trying to ride that wall up on the outside of the racetrack the last several laps as well. 20 laps to go in stage 1 this time by, and just a 30-lap short opening stage here tonight at Kansas. Luke Baldwin in the 66 truck having some problems. He comes to pit road, and Thor Sport Racing not having a good start here this evening. Baldwin got up against the fence off of turn 2 and probably had a right front tire going down, it looks like, as a result of that contact with the wall. So unscheduled stop under green as we continue to race on. Honeycutt challenges for second place on Chandler Smith. Gets to his inside after taking the cut down to the apron through the front stretch. Stays on the white line, entering turns 1 and 2. Looks to slide up, but Chandler with the run on the high side is going to stay right there with him. And Smith is actually clear into turn 3. Honeycutt pins his truck back down to the white line on the inside of the track at 3 and 4. Can't get back alongside Smith again, who now extends his gap over Honeycutt in that battle for position number 2 by about 3 to 4 truck lengths down the end of the front stretch. Our pole sitter, Jake Garcia, has fallen all the way back to 10th. Raja Karut has regathered himself back into the top 5 and 5th after losing several positions on that last restart. Top 10 with 18 laps to go in stage 1 has Corey Heim in the lead, Chandler Smith in 2nd, Caden Honeycutt in 3rd, Grant Enfinger 4th, and Raja Karut in 5th. 6th place is now Raja Karut as Tanner Gray moves up to 5th. And you got Lane Riggs in 7th, Bailey Curry 8th, Gio Ruggiero 9th, and again Jake Garcia rounding out the top 10 in 10th. The stream. Is it Byron in the race? Yes, William Byron is in the race. He had to start at the rear of the field. And I believe he actually got up to 17th after the first few laps of the race. Everything stacking up. He was able to stay out of harm's way, gain quite a few spots. He is up 5 more positions since the restart to 12th. And Hocevar, obviously in the race as well, has dropped back from the start, but he is in 15th. He had a little bit of contact on that opening lap, opening turn, where we saw several drivers bouncing off one another. Ty Majeski is currently 1 lap down. Luke Barrett is also a lap down and still on pit road as Baldwin after smacking the fence on the restart off turn 2. Hocevar makes a pass on Ben Rhodes for 14th. Rhodes continues to drop. Started 5th. He's already back 10 positions from the initial beginning of the race. Halfway through stage 1, Corey Heim has led every lap so far from the second starting spot. He's got a 7/10 of a second lead over Chandler Smith. The gap to 3rd is now 1.3 seconds over Caden Honeycutt. 1.8 seconds to Grant Enfinger in 4th, and Raja Karut rounds out the top 5 and 5th at 2.1 seconds off of the lead. So again, still very early in our race here tonight for the Craftsman Truck Series race at the Kansas Speedway, the Heart of a Healthcare 200. Corey Heim was just about a 1/10.5 quicker than Chandler Smith that last lap. And just been consistently about that much quicker than the second place truck. Couple spots to 4th now. Recently on screen, Jake Garcia puts a battle with Gio Ruggiero in the 17 for 9th. Take a look at our chat poll. We're up to 35 votes now, more than tripled really what we had last time we checked. Corey Heim still leading the way, though, has dropped from 36% to just 31% of the votes. William Byron is up to 29%. He was at 17 the last we checked. Carson Hocevar's dropped to 14%, other at 26%. So our top 3 vote getters in the voting poll, very tight. Again, you have until the end of stage 2, which would be at the end of lap 60 tonight, to cast your votes. That will be the fan vote pick of the night. See who you think is collectively going to win the Truck Series race at Kansas. Garcia makes the pass on Gio Ruggiero through turns 3 and 4. William Byron is working on Daniel Hemrick for 11, just behind that battle that was going on in front of him. Byron could complete the pass, though, and he might get passed on the outside by Hocevar, who had a big run off the top from the exit of turn 4.
Welcome back to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series live from Kansas Speedway. Well, nothing has changed up front. Corey Heim continues to lead, stretching that lead by 2/10. He's now led more laps at Kansas than any other track. Let's get an update from Josh.
And just an update on the 13 of Jake Garcia. Had that issue on the start of the race. Came over the radio and told the team, "Hey, I'm on the splitter just a little bit. I don't have the grip I need in this truck right now." As he's dropped all the way back to 9th place. His team told him, "Hey, you got to fight through this. We'll get to the end of the stage. We'll address it, but don't fade when those tires fade." He's fighting to keep that truck where it is right now, guys.
Well, that's sure easy to say, crew chief. But when the handling goes away on those trucks, and they do, you have a handful, and you're seeing that right now. I like what I'm seeing out of Daniel Hemrick. He looks really good right now, guys. He's winning top. He's had a couple of really good moves he's been able to make up there.
And here comes the company. William Byron. You know, he started out back because he races there alongside Giro Ruggiero. And there's Stuart Friesen with another strong truck. But Williams really using that high groove. Look at that momentum there he gains on the exit. And he's going to heat up that 19 of Hemrick here in the next lap or so.
I love William Byron's attitude. Got the call a week ago and he said, "Yeah, put me in, coach." He said, "I love the truck series." He said earlier in an interview, it brings back such great memories, Michael, when he ran here. I mean, that year he had the truck series rookie of the year. He got the win. Loves it. A little less pressure.
Got the win. Got 6 of them.
You know this. Just getting to race anything in a competitive situation, it just makes your world. As racers, you just, oh no, we've seen a lot of trouble on this 66 truck, and there goes another.
When in the wall, you hear it. Second caution of the race.
Another right front tire for that 66 truck, it appears.
Hate that for you. You know, you see a young driver getting their early starts, trying to learn the ropes, and just a tough day for Luke in that Mohawk Ford.
He did such a good job at Martinsville. He won practice, Brad. First time we seen him, he was the fastest in practice. And he he got bounced around a lot in the race, but he was very, very respectful the way he raced that racetrack. I thought he did a great job. It's a shame to see this early have this many problems.
In front of the leaders here, it looks like. See if we can catch it in replay. See, can we catch the tail end? Looks to me pretty clearly like he must have lost a tire to be in the wall so early in the corner, Mike.
Yes, sir. It's a shame. You live for these opportunities, and he had a good practice, and now just from the start, he hadn't had a chance.
He has one more planned race with this team in the 66, hoping to get more. So hard for these rookies, Brad. We talk about it all the time, and it doesn't just stop here in the truck series. It's all across NASCAR. I mean, you jump in here, you get 25 minutes, first time you've ever seen it,
Yep.
And then you go racing.
And Jamie, for these young drivers, particularly those that have just a few starts, you know, it's so hard to get that first 5 or 10 starts in this series. I'm sure there's somebody listening back home who wants to be a race car driver, watching our race here, a couple opportunities and making that count is, you know, it's what you live for. And it's a heartbreaker when they don't go your way.
You know, Brad, I think this is an interesting caution too. We talk about running the end of stage 1. I don't think if you're our leaders, you're going to hit here because you want those stage wins or stage points. But, you know, if I'm outside the top 10, 15, I might come here, get 4 tires, make the adjustments that I need, and we're only going to have a couple of laps of racing when we go back green. Then just hang in the back, chill out.
Yes.
And then grab that track position. Be interesting to see. The pit road was closed that time by. Be interesting to see if any of these trucks that are in the back will take advantage of that.
Yeah, absolutely, Michael. I look at somebody like Carson Mosavar or William Byron, some of those guys that really don't care about the points for the stages, and they're probably thinking to themselves, we're not going to worry about that. Let's go ahead and get our tires, and we'll restart up front for stage 2.
And then the smart guys will run around about half throttle for 2 or 3 laps so they can those tires will be fresh. Let's see if that happens.
So the pits are open, and just a reminder, they're very limited on tires. They had one brand new set to start the race. They have 3 sitting, so they have to use them wisely.
Very wise.
And we've seen a lot of issues already. Cut tires, guys have come down and had to use a set. So who pits here and who decides to stay out?
The road is open. There's a safety truck on the entry, but these guys are going to make a difficult decision. And Corey Himes,
Oh, look at it.
Oh.
Oh, wow.
Josh.
How about that?
The 38 of Chandler Smith, saying his biggest issue is turn 3 right now, saying he lacks lateral security in that one, good in 1 and 2, so they'll make an adjustment. Definitely not for the 45, Caden Honeycutt, saying he's struggling a lot when it comes to dirty air. He can get to the 38, but can't pass it. We're going to try and help him out as well, Amanda.
Just great. Pulled into his bucket. Told me that he felt about a 7 out of 10 on his truck today. They were okay in practice, but he told his team that we are better than we were in practice now. At pretty neutral balance-wise, but I've lost overall grip as Grant gets out. And for Corey Hyde, he said, I have more track time at any track right here in Kansas. He swept this place last year. Jamie, and as you said, he has led at every race this season, including now. So far, so perfect for Corey Heim. You see Raja Caruth picking up 3 spots on pit road. Great job by that team. There it is. Corey Heim's team gets it done on pit road. Stage 2 coming up next.
Jorge has always put the ones he loves first. But when it comes to care.
Alrighty. So Corey Heim wins the race off pit road. I do believe there might have been a couple drivers staying out to try to either A, conserve a set of tires, and or B, try to stay out and get some stage points because we're only going to have a couple laps to go in stage 1 when we do get back to racing. 2 early cautions in our opening 30 laps for this opening stage here tonight in the Truck Series race at Kansas Speedway. Wait for our leaderboard to update. Once the race leader gets to the start-finish line, every lap, that is when this raw feed and this live leaderboard will give us the most recent and active running order. So it looks like Frankie Muniz stayed out of the pits. Same for Tyler Ankrum and Ty Majeski. Though Majeski, I believe, got the free pass. I don't think he's going to be able to actually stay up in the top 3. He was a lap down when the caution came out, but I'm pretty sure he was the first driver lap down. It was him and Baird that were the only 2 off of the lead lap. And I do believe I saw Majeski getting that wave around and was able to pass the lead lap trucks before they opened pit road. As for Muniz, might just wait till the restart to actually get his truck into the pits here. Pit when nobody else is around him. See some of the backmarker teams do that from time to time. He's able to lead some laps under caution. Probably only going to have 2 or 3 laps to go in the restart for this stage. And they'll be getting the 1 to go signal this time by back to seeing Corey Heim at the front of the field. So those few trucks before we're going to get our restart. Oh, wow. William Byron stalled out, leaving his pit box. Got all the way up to 11th before that last caution came out after starting at the rear of the field. Now he's going to have to go back to the rear again. Some of the team crew members were going to try to give him a little bit of a push start, but he was able to get the truck refired just before that. So Corey Heim and Roger Kruth will be on the front row. We'll have 2 laps to go in the restart for stage number 1. Row 2 will be Caden Honeycutt and Grant Enfinger just behind them. Then Chandler Smith, Lane Riggs around row 3. Well, green-white checker, if you will. It's a green-white checker because it's not the black-white checker flag. It's the green-white checker flag that'll be waving here in a couple laps. Playoff point on the line, 10 regular season points as well. Green flag back in the air. Raja Karuth slides the rear tires as he gets to speed Got picked up off the ground. The 45, Caden Honeycutt pushing him from behind. A block to the apron for Corey Heim as he's mirror driving basically on the 9 of Enfinger just behind him. Honeycutt's going to go up the middle 3 wide as he times out yet another great restart to that of Raja Caruth. And he's going to nearly pull clear and almost stuffed him up into the wall. Off turn 2, and all that momentum's lost immediately. 4 wide towards turn 3. Honeycutt still in the middle lane, and he goes from looking like he was going to get second off turn 2 to falling back to about 6th or 7th place off turn 4. Couple trucks making contact just behind him off the exit of that corner. Looked like Tanner Gray, had gotten clipped in the left rear corner panel. Keeps it going in the right direction, but it does look like it's flared out a little bit on that left rear. A lot of blocking going on. Honeycutt up the middle 3 wide, this time between Riggs and Hemrick. Battling for 6th. Carson Hosevar drives up to 4th. And as they come to get that green-white checkered flag, Corey Heim was ahead of everything that was going on behind him. And so Corey Heim dominates and wins stage 1 here tonight at the Kansas Speedway. He swept both stages and won the race last year. He won the race the year before that. Again, looking for 3 in a row at the Kansas Speedway. Off to a good start. He's led the most laps, qualified 2nd, wins the first stage. Really can't get any better than what Corey Heim has been able to put together so far today. He's got the extra seat time. Running the Cup Series race tomorrow. So he's been on the track all day today. Him, Byron, and Carson Hosevar. The 3 drivers pulling triple duty this week. So Heim wins stage 1. Raja Caruth 2nd. Grant Enfinger 3rd. Carson Hosevar in 4th. 5th for Chandler Smith, and Lane Riggs was 6th. 7th for Daniel Hemrick. Caden Honeycutt in addition for those stage points. Already our 3rd caution of the race, with this being the stage 1 yellow. A lot of stoppages in the early going. We don't see a lot of cautions on the mile-and-a-half tracks in the Truck Series the last couple of years, other than Texas having 10 yellows a week ago, but Texas was kind of the outlier track, I guess, if you will, on the mile-and-a-half side of things. Maybe that is picked up right where we left off from a week ago here at Kansas tonight. Guaranteed at least 1 more yellow at the end of lap 60 when we get to the end of stage 2. And I would imagine we're not going to see hardly anybody hit pit road here. Almost the entire field came onto pit road on that caution leading up to the restart with 2 to go in stage 1. We'll have to wait and see how that continues on. Does anybody have anything for Corey Heim? All the yellows and not a lot of green flag racing, especially a long run that we have seen so far today. We don't know who might have long run speed. If we go caution free at stage 2, we might start to see that before the final stage of the race.
Racing is coming to Fox, the 109th Indianapolis 500. That's Sunday, May 25th, only on Fox. You see Joseph Newgarden, 2-time winner, going for 3 straight. Alex Palou on the left just won the Indy Grand Prix a couple of hours ago. I'll be back on pit road. Excited about that. It's been 11 years since I've done it. So
Congratulations, Jamie. That's a big day of motorsports, and I'm glad you're going to be there. Fox is going to be there.
Yeah.
So exciting.
It'll be fun. We start practice on Tuesday. Meanwhile, stage 1 points, Corey Heim maximizing it there, taking home 10 points all the way down to Bailey Curry picking up a point.
Yeah, I was impressed with Grant Enfinger. I think he has more speed in that truck than we saw in practice today. And, you know, you talked about it earlier, Brad, how things are going to change. The temperature is going to go down. Already full shade in turn 4. That'll just continue to make this track evolve. More grip, faster speeds, it's all ahead.
Full shade turn 4 and 1 and 2 is kind of half shade. It's just going to continue to come in. So I think you're going to see the handling issues be more in turn 1 and 2 until it gets full shape.
Several takers on pit road, but none of our front runners.
A lot of talk about that man, Corey Heim. He leads here. When we come back, we'll kick off stage number 2. Can he hang on for win number 4?
Kind of a lengthy stage caution here, so we'll have to wave off the restart for another lap or two. They got some sweeper trucks over towards turn 1 on the racetrack that the field was going around to the inside right as they were cutting to another commercial break full screen during our stage 1 caution. We'll take a quick break of our own then while we're waiting for the next restart. You're listening live on KRC once again to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race at Kansas Speedway. 35 likes on the stream on our goal to try to get to 200. Sorry, not 200. I don't know why I said 200. I think I said 200 because it's the Heart of Healthcare 200. On our goal to get to 50 likes on the stream tonight. I know we're not going to touch 200. It'd be silly to put the goal that high. Certain cup races, it's reasonable, but not a random truck race at Kansas. Yeah, no Xfinity Series racing. With this being one of the best, if not the best, mile-and-a-half track on the circuit, it kind of stinks that the Xfinity Series only races here one time, and that would be in the fall. Spring date left open here for the Truck Series, though. Let's see what kind of racing we'll see in these final 2 stages if we get more green flag action in. See allergies, yeah. I'll tell you what, I'm not going to lie. I'm pretty tired. I'm just beat. I think, I've been working a lot of overtime over the last couple of months on the channel, so I probably mentioned a lot during these live commentary streams that I'll get off of work earlier in the day, but between the allergies and being up early, going to sleep like a rock tonight. Problem is I got to get back up again to go to work tomorrow. If my allergies are kicking my butt any worse, so I think I might end up calling off. So I'm ready to go for the stream. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. I usually don't call off. I don't have any points. I missed 6 hours. It'll still go on. It just depends how I sleep tonight. If I'm waking up having to blow my nose in the middle of the night several times, oh gosh, it's going to be terrible.
Hey, Booth, by the way, has just been every commercial period finding action everywhere because there's so much we can't cover it all. And here, Michael, you see big contact, Stuart Friesen, Gio Ruggiero, Connor Mozak.
Wow, that was so close to a major pileup because I don't think Friesen knew they were 3 wide. You could see the squeeze play there. And then Frankie Muniz come to pit road. He lost one of his tires. There you see it go out in the middle of nowhere.
That's really they don't even notice. Oh, whoops, lost it.
Yeah, that's really lost.
Man, Stewart was really fortunate there that he must have just felt that he needed to pull her just a little bit more left and was able to keep that truck from crashing. That was amazing.
Would have been a big wreck. But yeah, we said before this race started, guys, that this was going to be one of the most action-packed races of the year. I believe that, but man, wow, there has not been a break in this race yet. You could just,
and it was the same thing last week at Texas. Just crazy racing from the green flag to the checkered.
Even under the yellow flags, we have action with tires falling off and.
Well, we had gone 21 straight races without an overtime last week. We saw everything, including a double overtime. I think it was as long as a cup race last week.
Well, stay tuned. We still have a lot of racing left to go. Just 98 laps left in the race, but I don't know how we keep up with all this action. We're going to try real hard.
It's been a lot of fun.
As long as a cup race, I don't know about that. It's only 250 miles. Cup race is 400. I don't think 2 overtime is going to get us that far. Green flag is in the air. Truth looked like he kind of slid the tires on the outside of row 1 yet again. We've seen a couple of drivers do that already. His teammate Carson Hocevar going to put him to the outside 3 wide. Now Carruth's 4 wide with Carson still to his outside. Lane Riggs, Daniel Hemrick down low. 3 trucks at the very front of the field going to get away from everything scrambling and going on in the middle of the pack behind him. Corey Heim ends up with the lead yet again, and down the back straightaway into turn 3, a charge coming from second by Chandler Smith. He got cut off trying to take the outside lane. Corey Heim went up there, got him in that dirty air, and the clean air is king for Corey Heim as he leads the opening green flag lap of stage number 2. Tries to break the draft in the middle of the front stretch by going down to the apron through the tri-oval, taking the shortcut, if you will. Chandler Smith on the traditional racing line still. Slide job pass for third. Carson Hocevar, and he's clear of Grant Enfinger. Enfinger going to give him a quick little bump draft down the back straightaway. And Hocevar's been on the move in this one. Quite a few spots gained for him. William Byron coming from the rear on multiple occasions already in the early going of this race. That's why we haven't seen him up in the top 10 yet, but he is moving. Ace Alshire, Dome Poorly, welcome to the stream. You're in the stands right now. That's awesome, man. Appreciate you tuning in from the grandstands, too. Hopefully you're having fun. Staying cool. Definitely a warm night. Warm time of the day for it to be 80 degrees. This race will finish pretty close, if not in the complete darkness, by the time we get to the end. So the track will continue to go through changes in the twilight hours. Pass for second that last lap off turn 4. Carson Hocevar slides up in front of Chandler Smith. And Hocevar quickly pulling away from him. Now that he's in second, I'm curious to see what kind of a lap time he's going to put down in comparison to that of Corey Heim. Heim goes to the bottom of the racetrack, so did Hocevar, so he's going to have to deal with a slight bit of dirty air there. Both those front 2 trucks in the running order are changing their lines corner after corner, trying to keep one guessing over the other. A little harder for that driver in the rearview mirror to try to put the car in the same spot as the driver behind him, but the best are able to get it done, and Corey Heim's definitely the best in the truck series. Andrew says, I'll call in for you. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. All right, top 5 that time, crossing the stripe. Corey Heim in the lead. 0.3 of a second advantage over Carson Hocevar. 0.8 of a second over Chandler Smith in third. Grant Enfinger's 1.3 seconds back at fourth. Lane Riggs is a second and a half back at fifth. And now actually as our leaderboard updates, they cross the start finish line again. Riggs is up to fourth, 1.9 seconds off the lead. Enfinger drops to 2.5 seconds back at fifth. Roger Carruth is in sixth at 2.6 seconds off the lead. Seventh for Daniel Hemrick, 2.8 seconds back. Tanner Grace, 3.2 seconds off the lead. In eighth, Caden Honeycutt, ninth, 3.5 seconds off the lead. And rounding out the top 10 is Bailey Curry, 3.9 seconds off the lead in 10th. So top 10, the intervals between them. 17.5 laps to go in stage 2, and it's Corey Heim with Carson Hocevar battling for the lead. Hocevar gets underneath of Corey Heim, gets very loose through 3 and 4, lost the side force of the race truck, makes a big-time save, and Corey Heim extends his lead by multiple truck lengths down the front stretch heading into turn number 1. Man, oh man. $90 laps to go this time by in the race. We'll have 16 to go in stage 2. Hocevar was so close to clearing before he had that loose moment off of turn 4. Seemed like he was basically just trying to stand on the throttle 100% as long as he could till he had that slip up and then had to make a quick catch and trying to run down Corey Heim yet again, but Hocevar definitely looking very sporty. And it's going to be a challenge for Corey Heim going forward. Lane Riggs is another driver who's been putting together some pretty decent lap times. He was only 2/1000ths of a second slower than our race leader Corey Heim that last lap. Heim's got the clean air. Riggs might be in a slight bit of dirty air behind his teammate Chandler Smith, as he's about a half a second behind him. Riggs having to run the bottom of the track to get the clean air on the nose. through 1 and 2 as well. So look out for Lane Riggs if he can get up there to also be a contender in this. Still have yet to see William Byron up inside the top 10. Byron's up to 14th. And Ty Majeski, after having that lap 1, turn 1 deal where he ended up having a cut tire following contact after starting in 3rd, has made his way to 15th and then just got passed for 15th that last lap by Brandon Jones. We also haven't really talked about much tonight. Has been back in the middle of the back of the pack most of this race. Anchor, Byron, Jones, Majeski, that group there, 13th through 16th. I would not be shocked if any and all of those drivers could get up in the top 10 by the end. The last time we saw these two in a truck battling one another as aggressively as they have been, Carson Hocevar, Corey Heim, was the Truck Series Championship race 2 seasons ago. I'd like to forget about that race because it was an ugly one. I definitely know that Corey Heim would like to forget about it, and I wouldn't be surprised if Carson Hocevar would like to forget about it either. The blast of the temp is amazing. That's awesome. Yeah, Kansas Speedway is pretty nice facility-wise, too. It's been a few years since I've been there, but nice racetrack. Obviously was built, as far as the 1.5 miles go, a lot more recently than some of these older ones that are there. So everything for the most part is well kept up with the facility, the grandstands. Full screen commercial break currently airing on Fox Sports 1 as we have just over 10 laps to go in stage 2. Corey Heim has extended his lead to 1.6 seconds over Carson Hocevar, who might have used his stuff up trying to get to the lead on Heim several laps ago. Chandler Smith is in the 3rd place position. Lane Riggs is 4th. Raja Karuth rounds out the top 5. And now we are under caution, it looks like, during the commercial break. And this is our 4th caution of the race already in these first 51 laps. And again, 10 laps to go in stage 2 at the time of the yellow. Not exactly sure what the cause of the caution is. Have to get a replay as soon as they cut from break. Luke Baldwin, after getting up against the wall late in stage 1, causing that caution with the right front tire failure, is out. He's the only driver out of the race, at least prior to this caution that we're currently under. I'm not sure exactly what happened here, but he was the only driver out entering stage 2. Best thing for allergies, take a spoonful of local honey every morning. Yeah, I can tell you the Zyrtec right here doesn't worth a shit. I've been taking this for years. It's like, it's better than any of the other over-the-counter like allergy medication. Seems to work the best for me, but it's still, they still hit me hard every year. Every year. It's always this time. It's always May. The last 2 years specifically, it's been Memorial Day weekend because I know it's been rough for me trying to call the 600 and the Indy 500. The last 2 years. I was at the Indy 523. And my allergies were terrible that whole weekend, too. Cody Dennison, by the way, the cause of the caution. The 2 truck. Flat left rear tire. Flat left rear tire. Truck got out from underneath him entering turn 1. Slid down into the grass. I think he tore the truck up too badly, so he should be able to continue. And just like we saw back at stage 1, we'll probably see quite a few pit stops again. Each of these teams had pretty much 3 sets of tires. Second one's about to go on. Pit road's open.
Pit road and lead the charge. All right.
8 laps ready in stage 2. They're coming your way, Josh.
Well, for the 38 of Chandler Smith, said that truck is still just too tight. He needs more front turn to get it to drive the way he wants it. And for the 34 of Lane Riggs, having trouble through center and exit, saying it gets too tight. He can manage the entry, but he needs help getting the corners. Vanna?
Yeah, just like a triple that Carson Hosevar is doing this weekend. He was on the ARCA broadcast with us last night, racing in the truck race. We'll race in the cup race tomorrow. Said he likes to get as much time as he can on this track as you see him take those tires in that 7. And for Corey Heim, they will race each other again tomorrow as Corey Heim returns to the Cup Series, racing for 2311. Looked like there was a bit of a holdup on the right rear. We'll chase that down, guys. Yeah, long pit stop for Corey Heim. Gives up a lot of track position, and here he comes just now exiting.
Wow. Tough pit stop for that team.
Like Carson Hosevar got off pit road first. That changed the dynamics of this race. Corey Heim's been good, but he has not been faster than Carson Hosevar, so he's going to have to switch gears from playing defense to playing offense.
This isn't something we normally see from this pit crew.
Yeah, Jamie, you said how solid they've been. You see there's a problem on the left rear. He needs a gun.
It got broke. You see, I think it's that socket fell off. You can see it rolling on the ground. Yep.
Had to get the guy from the front to come back and finish things up, and that's 10 spots right there at least.
Go back and see that replay again, but it looked like the gun broke, maybe the socket broke off of it.
But that's it's great for teamwork. When you see each other, they're motioning, they help each other out. Gave up a lot of track position there for the man who has dominated this race. And we welcome you inside the booth. Brad Kozlowski, you always talk about the Checkered Flag Foundation and all that you guys do. I've been able to be part of a couple of your events, and you guys give canines away to veterans. Now you have something else coming up. Tell us about
it. We have another huge event. You know, Charlotte Race Weeks are coming. Great time for race fans to come to Charlotte between the North Wilkesboro All-Star Race and the Charlotte Coca-Cola 600. 2 of the biggest weeks in racing. If you're a fan of stock cars, all the series will be there. And for us and a lot of people in the sport, we have all of our charity events. Mine's going to be coming up May 22nd. We've got all the great guys, Tim Duggar. We love Tim Duggar. All-star comedian John Christ, Aaron Weber. Fine tickets on sale right now. All goes to a great cause, supporting our veterans, those who have served and who have come back injured. And so we hope that our fans watching will come to Charlotte for race weeks and maybe come see our foundation event, all to enjoy racing and everything that makes NASCAR special.
That's right. It's a hero's homecoming. And Brad, we appreciate all that you do for veterans, for their families. You've always been that patriotic guy. So go online right now, get those tickets.
If you come for Charlotte Race Weekend, this is going to be a must-see event.
Yes, it's Thursday night, I believe, before the Coke 600.
Great country music with Duggar, comedy. That's going to be a fun night.
We'll give away some canines to several veterans who are disabled, so we're looking forward to helping them out as well.
Special evening.
Well, we're going to get ready for another wild restart. 4, we even saw 5 wide there once. What will go down here?
Well, this is going to be a 5-lap restart, right? At the end of the stage. And I think of that and say, okay, the last time we had a 2-lap restart, we about all wrecked off turn 4. But no Corey Heim leading for the first time today. It's going to be Carson Hosevar leading the charge.
That's right. Corey Heim back in 16th. Green flag. First time that the 7 truck will be the control truck. You see Tanner Brave right behind him.
Great push by Tanner Brave. Look at the speed on the outside.
All right, big difference in this restart. The outside lane stayed together. They didn't go 3 wide. And because of that, that's going to give Grant Infinger a great chance to clear for the lead down the backstretch.
Oh, boy.
Pushes are wild, aren't they, Brad? Look at those guys.
Yeah, Tanner Craig giving a big push, but it's not enough to clear it. Oh, Raja!
Infinger, keep it off the wall. So far he does. Slips back, he loses about 7 spots there.
And Enfinger's going to clear to the lead while all this is going on with 4 laps left of the stage.
Talked earlier about the speed of that 9 truck. He got that thing out in the lead, and here comes Lane Riggs down on the bottom of that Ford. He's been so fast every week, all year long. Raja almost bought the farm here down to 3 and 4.
There's quick replays in the middle lane. You're going to see the 15 Oh, Tanner Gray slide up, and he's got to compensate for that big save.
Now get much closer to wrecking than that. Look at this. Lane Riggs hold it back.
Intense battle for the race lead and for the Stage 2 win. Entering Turn 1, Carson Hocevar checks to the inside of our leader, Grant Enfinger, and he should be clear off the exit of Turn 2 after a great push he got from behind by Lane Riggs, who got up off Turn 4 with a huge head of steam after Hocevar pulled the slide job on him. 2 corners, 2 passes for Carson, and he's back out in front. 2 laps to go in Stage 2 this time by. And don't look now, but William Byron is up to the 4th place position in the top 5 for the first time. And he's charging fast after the 3 trucks just in front of him. Enfinger very tight as he overdrives the entry into Turn 1. Lifts quite a bit through the middle of the corner, and Lane Riggs is now up to 2nd off Turn 2. Take up a playoff point on Carson Hocevar if he can get by him on the final lap of Stage 2. Exit of the corner, Riggs is about 3 truck lengths off the back of Hocevar. Hocevar's got a lap truck of Coney Dedison. Kind of took Carson's line away. Riggs up near the top of the racetrack through 1 and 2 should have a run down the back straightaway. Riggs closes the gap slightly. Lap truck kind of in the way. Couldn't cut all the way to the bottom as quickly as he wanted to. Hocevar through the middle groove of the track will hold on, and Carson Hocevar is going to win Stage 2 here tonight at Kansas. Lane Riggs in 2nd, Grant Enfinger 3rd, William Byron 4th, Daniel Hemrick in 5th, 6th for Tanner Gray, Tyler Ankrum 7th, Ben Rhodes 8th, Caden Honeycutt 9th, and Raja Caruth rounds out the top 10, all receiving stage points, 1 point per position in the stage. Obviously, Hocevar and Byron being Cup regulars will not get points, but their teams will get the owner points towards their playoff standings. So truck regular Corey Heim wins Stage 1. Cup regular Carson Hocevar wins Stage 2. Who'll win Stage 3? As the prize money will be on the line here shortly. You're listening live on KRC. We'll take a quick break. 5th caution of the day is out for the end of Stage 2 at lap 60. And since we're at the end of Stage 2, we're going to close the chat poll off. And then we'll get the diecast showing here shortly as well. Just ended the poll. 31% taking Corey Heim for the race win here tonight. 25% taking William Byron or somebody other than Hocevar, Byron, or Heim. And Hocevar, who just won Stage 2, only gets 18% of the votes. Last of our 4 voting options, but really those top 3 relatively tight. Corey Heim was my pick to win, and collectively the fans taking Corey Heim for the race win as well. He was 12th at the end of the stage, but lost about 20 positions on pit road as the rear tire changer's gun ended up breaking while trying to change that left rear tire. Had to wait for the front tire changer to finish and grab that left rear for himself. He was able to gain 10 positions on those final 5 laps of Stage 2, which is all we had for green flag action there in between the 2 cautions. So 2 cautions for incident in Stage 1, 1 for incident in Stage 2, and the 2 stage yellows at lap 30 and lap 60 are 5 cautions so far. We've had 6 lead changes in. By the time we get to this next restart, we'll have more than 20 laps ran under yellow. And we'll have roughly half the race remaining when we get the restart to begin Stage 3. Which again is more than the fuel window, which is 50 to 55 laps. So if we do go green all the way through Stage 3, we will see green flag pit stops. You see teams trying to split the stage in half, even if we get about a 30 to 35 lap run. As well, we've seen quite a few pit stops in Stage 3 of the mile-and-a-half track so far this season. Even last week at Texas, we started to see them, even though we had quite a few cautions in that race. We did have a nearly 60-lap green flag run in Stage 3 of that one before the multiple yellows in the closing laps, 4 in the final 20, which led to a double overtime restart at the finish. Showing the replay currently of Carson Hocevar's pass for second, then the bump draft he got by Lane Riggs on the front stretch and carried that huge head of steam into turn one where he was able to take the lead away from Grant Enfinger. One of the best runs we've seen out of Grant Enfinger so far this season on speed. He's been up in the top 5 pretty much all night. He's able to lead some laps in stage 2, third at the end of the stage, and see if that team can make some slight adjustments before the end of the race, try to give them a chance. Pretty much one more set of tires left for a lot of these teams. When to pit is going to be a huge, huge question here. Definitely don't want to wait too long. But if you wait long enough and catch a caution at the right time, you can have fresh tires and the advantage of being out in front of everybody else who would have pitted before you, especially if you trap up a lap down. Corey Heim has still led the most laps so far in the race, so definitely can't count him out of it. "52 laps led for Corey out of the 63 complete." Step away for a quick second. Blow the old nostrils. Good old allergies. I just kind of realized after I walked away, I could have muted the mic instead of having to step up off the screen. Actually, I got to get up anyway. I got to get the die cast for tonight's die cast showing. Should have stayed up. What do we want here? I probably showed that one already. I don't think I showed that. I'm kind of lost. I don't know which one to show. I'll take one of my favorite ones that I know I've definitely showed on the stream already. I bought 2 more while I was in Talladega specifically. I didn't get any when I was at Texas last weekend. But Talladega the weekend before that I got 2, but they're not in this room with me currently, so I'm not going to show them off quite yet. This one is Carl Edwards' 2011 Aflac Ford Fusion. And obviously famous for this season in the tie and the points paying finish at Homestead Miami Speedway with Tony Stewart. I guess it was announced earlier in the week officially by NASCAR Homestead was going to be the finale once again, so maybe it's a good reason to show this die cast off. But yeah, this is definitely one of my favorites. I've always liked the Aflac schemes. This one in particular would probably be my favorite of the bunch. Good old cousin Carl. One of 2 Carl Edwards die casts that I have. The only one from his Roush Fenway racing days. I actually have 2 other 99 cars, but they're both Jeff Burton's. Show it off once again here. The good old Aflac duck on the side of it. If my voice wasn't a little bit on the scratchier side of things because my allergies, I would do the Aflac duck noise, but I don't trust that my voice would be able to sustain it without cracking, so I'm not going to do that. Maybe another time. Again, if I sound nasally or congested, it's old allergy season for me. Road to 7,000 subs on the channel. To 50 as well. Yeah, Aflac. It's about the best I could do tonight. Wasn't very high octave, but Corey Heim definitely has the fastest truck in the field of those that we've seen up in contention. Carson Hosevar had a good short run truck, but it seemed like the longer that run went, the better for Corey Heim, especially having the clean air advantage that he did at the time of leading before that second to last caution that we've seen. And then obviously lost the 22 positions on pit road. But he's in 12th. William Byron, we haven't seen in the top 3 yet, but he's up to 4th. He's come from the back on 2 different occasions, so that's why it took him so long to get to where he's at right now. He could be in contention as well.
San Antonio Brahmas. It's Fox UFL Friday. That kicks off at 8 Eastern. Watched the game last night. Let's see my girl Jenny Taft. How about this kid living his best life? Just mowing down this barbecue rib, but look at his little sticker there, Brad.
I love truck racing too, buddy. Yeah, ribs in Kansas City. I love ribs. This is what his sticker says on his back. This is every boy's dream. You know what? I'm growing up, and that's actually my dream. Look, eating ribs and watching a truck race on a Saturday night in Kansas.
Yep.
Beautiful thing.
It is, and we welcome you back to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. So it'll be 67 laps to go at the line. Carson Hosevar picked up stage number 2, took the win there. Lane Riggs, Grant Enfinger, William Byron up to 4, the highest we've seen him here tonight. And Daniel Hemrick round out the top 5. More shade on the track. You guys have been talking about turn 1 is completely shaded. All of turn 4, part of turn 3, so things are continuing.
Pace is going to keep picking up, but now these drivers are on older tires. So they got 5 laps on these tires. Look out for the wheel spin on these restarts, and what I'm really watching is the outside row. Will they stick together?
Here we go. Carson Hosevar, Lane Riggs in the outside.
Waiting for the great start. No help from behind, though.
Looks like William Byron might have spun those tires.
Williams says, I gotta go high.
That's going to give Carson Hosevar the lead. Oh, big moment for Daniel Hemrick.
Jeez.
So close.
Big wiggle. He hangs on to it.
Oh, boy.
The corner 4 wide again. Watch him scramble down the back straightaway. That's Corey Heim.
Making moves underneath Daniel Hemrick, and now Tyler Ankrum.
Man, he's moving quick.
Hayden Honeycutt up top in the 46, hanging in there. Brad, I think you're going to be impressed with what you see over the next 20, 30 laps with that 11 truck.
Corey Heim up to 6, slips back to 7th there.
You better call them quickly, Jamie. These guys are moving all over the place.
There's action everywhere, but meanwhile, Carson Hosevar has set sail out front. Byron up to 3rd. Lane Riggs has slipped back to 4th.
Byron hasn't been quite as fast as Carson Hosevar, but he's been a little more measured in the moves he's making. He's now a threat to win the race. Established in the top 3.
You know, he started in the back, and he had to go to the back because his truck stalled, and yet he's fought to the front. What's going on here?
Bailey quickly looks like slow down the front stretch.
See if he can get that thing back to the pits.
Pearson's back up speed off of turn 2 as we have Corey Heim and Daniel Hemrick still battling here.
Battle Frank. This was the finish last week right here, the 11 and the 19, 1-2 at Texas.
Boy, what a battle that was, too. Those 2 race trucks. Wow. We have another epic finish like that here tonight, and it's looked like we might.
Nice run for Brandon Jones with that hot truck.
So we're going to try to make a pass on him on the top 1 and 2. It just barely clears him off of turn 2.
And they'll go after that 18 of ankle.
5th truck start.
Look at that.
Here for Brandon Jones. No top for him as Corey Heim is on the move. And he does it.
You know, we joke about it being Heim time, and you know, obviously the rhyme is a lot of fun, but he's showing it. I mean, the guy makes great moves. He doesn't really appear to have a big weakness in any of his game. And he had a little bit of misfortune on pit road. He's recovering very nicely here.
Well, we heard the report, got on the radio and said, don't worry, guys, we'll get it back.
I got this. And I could not agree more. This front 5 are not driving away from him as he's continuing to march toward them.
So we're setting ourselves up here, Michael, for a really long run. The field is just starting to kind of get organized. Now the guys have, all these guys and gals out here have tires that are a little bit older. And they're going to have to make some really critical decisions on pit road as this run progresses and on the racetrack with how you drive your truck. Drive it a little bit too hard early in the run, you're going to have to pit early. You're not going to be able to go that full length. You might put yourself in jeopardy. It's really interesting to see how this whole run is going to play out here. It probably the way you drive your truck and the crew chief calls the pit stop here is going to dictate our race speed.
Well, about lap 95, Brad, last year in this race, that's when the green flag pit stop started. So in about 25 laps from now, between lap 95 and 105, if they decided to make that stop. We'll see if that's the case again here tonight.
One set of tires remain. When do you come down and put those on?
Yeah, miss the timing on that, and you have no chance to win this race. But one of the things I like that I'm seeing is lane rates. This truck, to me, if he could take care of it, has had the case to run with Carson Hocevar on these really long runs.
You can see he's better right now, but Granite looks like he's searching for a way to get around him, and when he makes that move,
And he needs to find a way, Michael, to get ahead of Grant Enfinger without using his tires up so he can still persevere on the long run.
that's a delicate balance there to do too, isn't it? He knows he needs to get rid of the 9 truck and get on his way after Hocevar, but he also knows he needs to be taking care of those tires.
So we see Corey Heim now move into the top 5 as well, passing Caden Honeycutt for 5th place.
Wasting no time at all as he works his way to try to get around the 07 of William Byron. By the way, Connor Zilich was supposed to be in that truck. He injured his back at Talladega in the Xfinity Series, so we're wishing him a speedy recovery. We're expecting him back here and for the next Xfinity race. So William Byron got the call, and here he is now running 5th as Caden Honeycutt trying to get around him to pick up the spot.
Last couple of laps, I'm not going to break any breaking news, but Corey Heim's been the fastest truck on the track.
He looks pretty good, doesn't he, Mike? I'm still surprised here by William Byron. He had established himself in the top 3, and he's starting to fade a little bit here. I thought that truck, that might be his breakthrough moment in the race.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. He just doesn't have the pace that he needs to run with him. He got the track position after a long couple of stages, but then he couldn't hang on to it.
4 top 10s this year for Caden Honeycutt, that 45 truck. Looking for his first top 5 of the season, and that's where he's running right now.
Trucks are so evenly matched inside the top 5. I'm just a little bit quicker than the others, but still some really solid lap times being put down here by our leader.
Carson Hocevar, later, he did all of his racing in the truck series for Nice Motorsports. We were just talking about Caden Honeycutt, and now he's here driving the 7 truck. Ryan Patty is the crew chief for Spire Motorsports.
Where you see the margin of distance between first and second. Grant Enfinger right against the outside wall, as is Hocevar.
Yeah, I really feel like if Lane Riggs could get by Grant Enfinger, he could run up to Hocevar. Hasn't quite been able to clear. So now you see the highlights becoming more and more dominant, particularly as the tires are falling off. You need that banking to get around these corners, get that extra little bit of grip. The tires are right. Look at all the rubber that the travel's taking. You can see all the marks on it.
$54 laps to go when Carson Hocevar crosses the start-finish line. He leads over Grant Enfinger from Kansas.
All right, 54 laps left. Everybody's going to have to pit at least one more time. A 1-second lead for Hocevar over Grant Enfinger out in front of the field. Then you got Lane Riggs in the 3rd place position. Corey Heim 4th, and Caden Honeycutt rounding out the top 5 in 5th. 6th place is now William Byron after dropping back a bit on the restart. Tyler Ankrum is in 7th. Daniel Hemrick 8th. Brandon Jones 9th. And in 10th is Chandler Smith. Jake Garcia in 11th. Raja Carew 12th. Tanner Gray 13th. Ben Rhodes 14th. And Stuart Friesen 15th. Connor Mosack 16th. Gio Ruggiero in 17th. Ty Majeski 18th. Jack Wood 19th. And Matt Crafton is 20th. Bailey Curry 21st. Andres Perez 22nd. Dawson Sutton 23rd. Matt Mills 24th. And Tony Breitinger 25th. Spencer Boyd, 26th. Morgan Baird, 27th. Cody Dennison, 3 laps down in 28th. Frankie Muniz, 5 laps down in 29th. Nathan Bird is 10 laps down in 30th. Luke Baldwin, again, the only driver out of the race, had a right front failure back in stage 1. Only driver out in this one. So with everybody still having to pit, when to pit is the next question. Corey Hyman, his wayward to the front of the field, has gained 8 positions since the restart. He was in 12th. He is now only 2.3 seconds off the lead. He's about 9/10 of a second off of where Lane Riggs is for 3rd, in front of him as the next driver to try to pass for position. Lead has shrunk down just a bit. Enfinger was almost a 10th quicker than Hocevar that last lap, only to give up a couple tenths the following lap to Hocevar. So they're trading lap times back and forth to the very front. And Hyman's kind of settled in, really doing the same thing with Carson Hocevar. One lap he's quicker, another lap he's not. As he's in traffic, he probably burned up quite a bit of his tires trying to get to where he's at now. If he could just stay within about 2.5 seconds getting into the pit stops, have a quick enough pit stop, and maybe he could gain some more time on that next run leading into the checkered flag at the end of the race. David Payne, welcome to the stream. Good racing. Oh yeah, man. Kansas Speedway. Can't get any better than that on the 1.5 mile tracks. Homestead is close, but I'd go Kansas. A little bit higher speed, still able to move through the field. A lot easier with the multiple grooves of racing. The top isn't as overpowering as, say, maybe what it is at Homestead Miami Speedway. And you can make moves down the bottom of the racetrack, middle of the racetrack. We've seen a lot of that so far tonight on other than just restarts. Long green flag runs included. Didn't even realize that, but they're showing it on the FS1 broadcast right now. Chandler Smith had an uncontrolled tire penalty during his pit stop under caution, and as a result of which, he had to restart at the rear of the field. He has since gotten to 10th place, but he's still over 10 seconds off the lead. Our like goal is to get to 50 on tonight's stream, so be sure to hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. We're at 43 likes. And again, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. Well, I should say daily because we haven't done daily as much. The goal at the start of the year was to stream 300 times, 300 days out of 365 on the calendar year. We're still on pace to doing so. I was just on vacation for the last couple of weeks, so we haven't been doing as many streams during the week, obviously, the last several weeks as a result of which. And we should hopefully be able to get back to doing that by the end of next week. On top of, obviously, the weekend NASCAR content that you are seeing right here with the truck race tonight. Live commentary for that. Xfinity racing. Chopper racing. Cup practice and qualifying, so on and so forth. I was talking about it earlier during the practice and qualifying stream, but we got a big weekend next weekend for North Wilkesboro. We will be streaming all things All-Star Race weekend. Obviously, we have another truck race coming up Saturday afternoon, but we will also have heat races on Saturday. Pit road competition will be live streamed on the channel. Practice will be live streamed on the channel, as well as the All-Star Open and All-Star Main Event. 2 races, 2 different streams on that Sunday. So doubleheader Sunday, and then anywhere from a doubleheader to tripleheader, depending on how the scheduling is for the heat races and pit road competition, all that for the Cup Series, with practice for the All-Star Race weekend. A lot to look forward to next week at North Wilkesboro. Battle for the lead as Carson Hocevar got caught up in lap traffic. Grant Enfinger's all over his back bumper. Thought about taking it 3 wide middle the last lap, but then the lap car kind of closed off that ability to make the move. But Enfinger's still right there behind Carson. Grant Enfinger has not won a race yet this season, so trying to lock his way into the Truck Series playoff field. In fact, 3 of the top 5 of the truck regulars haven't won. Enfinger, Riggs, and Honeycutt 2nd, 3rd, and 5th. Only Corey Hyman 4th has won a truck race so far this season. He's got 3 of them. He's 2.5 seconds off the lead still. Lane Riggs is starting to put a charge on as well. Carson Hocevar looked like he was fading on the long run at stage 2 end when he was trying to track down Corey Hyman, who was leading. Now with Carson Hocevar leading, he's got 2 trucks reeling him in from behind. Again, Enfinger and Riggs. Tim Brown, welcome to the stream. Enfinger making a dive for the lead again through 1 and 2. Now, if he fails to make the pass lane, Riggs could be there for second. Riggs gets a run off the high side, swings to the bottom on the back straightaway as Enfinger had to slide up in line behind Hocevar. And here comes Riggs. Riggs with a slide job of his own for turns 3 and 4. He completes the pass. Enfinger with the double crossover looking to the inside. Oh, contact as Riggs tried to block him, and he nearly ran him down into the grass. Left front fender pushed in a bit on the 34 of Riggs. Enfinger still underneath, and that's going to buy Hocevar more time as he pulls away slightly. He could allow for Corey Hyman fourth to close in on the battle for second as well. Riggs does finally complete the pass clear, and he's pulling away from Enfinger, but that took a couple extra quarters, about an extra lap or so. I think Riggs might have actually brushed the wall up off of turn 2 the lap before that also. All over the place, that's for sure. The contact didn't look like it really did too much damage to either the 9 or the 34. After Riggs had gotten to second, he's running right up on that wall, and he is starting to close the gap on Hocevar again. Riggs' best race of the season, arguably, was back at Homestead, a wall riding racetrack, and here we are now. Green flag pit stops are starting. Chandler Smith is in.
You said lap 95, and here they are.
Have the tire control there. Looks like from adjustments. Try to get that truck fixed up with 40 laps to go here. Jeff Wood on pit road as well.
Now you got to remember what Corey Haim was able to do. He charged himself into contention. You talked about he couldn't pour his tires out. So now he's going to try to get on level ground with the tires and with his track position. So we'll see when Corey Haim comes in as compared to Carson Hocevar and Lane Riggs.
It looks like Lane Riggs might be pitting this time.
As is Grant Enfinger.
So Carson Hocevar will wait at least
Rasha Carutha.
another lap.
Corey Haim's in. Now he's going to have same tires, same track position as the guys he's racing. Can Corey Haim use that to go win this race?
And they all pitted earlier than Carson Hocevar, and they were right on his rear bumper. So they'll come out and run one lap on newer tires that might be enough to bridge the gap and get them in front.
Remember, Carson got involved in that opening problem, and Carson's going to bring it to pit road here. He got involved with that early.
Locked right front of him a little bit. Tells me he had a great pit road entry.
Yeah, it's probably maximized there, but just remember, Brad, he might be a tire down. I think he put a left side tire on when he got mixed up on that flat one. Bump up.
So with Hocevar pitting, that gives the lead to William Byron.
Oh!
Muted. Goes through the grass. That brings out
Oh, wow.
caution.
What a huge break for some of these guys and a huge loss for a few others. Well, it's a big break for Byron and Carson Hocevar. He'll cycle back in the lead with brand new tires. Well, he's
Carson just now leaving pit road.
not sure. I don't think he won a lap down. We'll have to see how this all cycles here. I think he just beat William Byron to the line right there. You see William Byron and you see Carson Hocevar, the pit out line. He's down the front stretch here. Lane Riggs, Grant Enfinger. What a turn of events that was. We talked about it.
Second week in a row, we see a caution in the truck series right in the middle of green flag pit stops. Shaking up the running order. Half the field going to get trapped a lap down, it really seems like here. William Byron was the race leader at the time of the caution. He had not yet made a pit stop. Quite a few other cars have not made a stop yet either. We'll have to see how all this ends up cycling. On our score sheet, it has Lane Riggs in 16th as the first truck, one lap down, 14th. Riggs in 14th would get the free pass. Everybody else is going to have to take the wave around. Enfinger, Haim, Honeycutt, Hemrick, Ankrum, they're all going to have to take the wave around. Looked like Connor Mosack down at the bottom of the racetrack was very slow and trying to pit. Frankie Muniz was coming up on him very quick and had to just try to avoid him at full speed. Made a quick evasive maneuver to get to the outside. He missed the slow truck of Mosack on the bottom, but in result spun off the turn 4 down into the grass and causes a caution right in the middle of this race. Your wife picked William Byron. Well, might look like a good pick here depending on how the pit stops end up shaping up. Luck has not been on Stuart Friesen's side the last few weeks, but it is here. Caution while he's in second. A lot of these teams put on their last set of tires during those green flag stops, so obviously they're going to have to stay out, but it's going to be very close as to whether or not Carson Hocevar was actually on the lead lap at the time of yellow. If he was, he should be the leader, but on a couple lap older tires than those behind him. Riggs is going to get the free pass, and everybody else is going to take the wave around. Here comes Byron and the rest of the lead lap trucks to the pits.
Has been struggling with a tight truck all night. He said he wants some of the same adjustments that they've already made here. William Byron is great on 1.5 miles in the truck series. He picked up 4 wins of his 8 career wins in the truck series as he makes his way over to the box. But the luxury here is taking those 4 tires and getting back out for the rest of this race, guys. Nice big adjustment there for the 07.
How good does that feel to look over at the wall and see those sticker tires right off your truck and knowing you're going to leave pit road here, restart to the front row.
Stuart Friesen actually beats William Byron off of pit road. He'll join Carson Oswar up front when we come back from yellow.
See Tanner Gray loses 1 spot, slips back to 4th off pit road. We will be back.
We'll be
at Kansas Speedway. Stay with us.
Side-by-side commercial break on FS1. Lap 100 of 134 here tonight. We'll have just over 30 laps to go on this next restart. Will it be the final one? We'll have to just kind of wait and watch, see how this plays out. We'll take a quick break. Until then, you're listening live on KRC to the Healthcare, Heart of Healthcare 200 at Kansas. Obviously, it was the first stage win of the season for Carson Hocevar in the Truck Series. It was also the 6th stage of the win back in Stage 1 for Corey Heim. And Heim, who's had the fastest truck here today, going to have to take the wave around, and some timely caution probably going to take him out of a very good shot to win this race. Carson Hocevar is going to be the leader as he was barely on the lead lap at the time of the caution. He was on pit road, but hadn't gone a lap down yet. So he gets bailed out. He'll be on just as equal of tires to that of Byron, Friesen, Ruggiero, all those drivers at the very front of the field. He was the only driver that made a green flag stop that was on the lead lap at the time of the yellow. Lane Riggs gets the free pass, but he's still going to be behind all the other trucks on the racetrack who obviously just came to pit road. So he's 14th, then he got Enfinger 15th, Heim 16th. See how it goes. Let me know in the chat if any of you, when we had the poll up for who you thought was going to win the race, voted for either Hocevar or Byron. Just considering they're both going to be on the front row for this next restart. Neither of those two were the top poll getters. Of course, Corey Heim had won as our fan pick driver of tonight's race. But his streak of winning at Kansas Speedway is definitely hanging in the balance. Slow pit stop, just a little bit too far behind by the time we got to the green flag stops to that ill-timing caution. Just the combination of everything just really hurt him there. Billy took Byron. Earl took Hocevar. Tim Brown's wife took Byron, of course. Well, lights are out on the pace car. We'll be going green this time. Usually there's a truck pacing the Truck Series field, but got a Toyota Supra, it looks like. I always thought it was a truck, at least. Riggs and Heim have a fast truck, but they're going to need a lot of help with restarts. Right lane, right time, making quick passes to get up in contention. Leaders getting taken out in front of them. They're just too far back with too little time to go. I mean, Heim got from 12th to 4th on the restart. Once he got there, he used all of his stuff up and couldn't get any closer than that despite having a faster truck all night. Similar spot again here. Couple lap older green flags on those tires as they exited pit road a couple laps before the caution came. Leaders on fresher tires in front. Lyndon Bollinger, welcome to the stream. Also took Carson. Green flag back in the air. Great restart for Hocevar. He's going to be clear well into the first turn. Stuart Friesen is all over his back bumper in the second place position. Top two are clear. Byron falls to third. And Ben Rhodes going to sneak up into fourth place. It actually hangs with the inside of Byron off of turn 3 down the backstretch for third. Byron getting pushed from behind by Ruggiero. Byron gets back past the 99 of Rhodes. And Byron to the inside, sneaking up on the left rear quarter panel of Friesen for second. Hocevar leads the first green flag lap of the run, 31 laps to go at Kansas. Riggs is already up to 8th, by the way. Highest running of those that got trapped a lap down with the last caution. He's got Curry and Gray side by side for position right in front of him. Nowhere to go for Riggs at that time. Byron's been side by side for almost an entire lap with Stuart Friesen. Looked like he was maybe going to clear into turn 3 until his truck wiggled and went up the racetrack in the center of the corner, and Byron nearly clear off the exit, cuts to the apron through the tri-oval. Block, and now he's clear. So Byron's in second. One Cup regular leads another with Carson Hocevar out in front at the Kansas Speedway. Heim is up to 9th, right behind Riggs, by the way, at about 2.5 seconds off the lead. They're probably going to have to work together to get through the field for now before they battle each other. They battle each other too much now. It's going to be less and less time to try to get to the front. 3 wide still going on just outside the top 10 around Chandler Smith, Andres Perez, and Ty Majeski. Boy, Majeski's had a tough night tonight. Following backwards yet again on another restart. Tyler Ankerman and Roger Caruth are both outside the top 20. I think they were like 7th and 12th, 6th and 12th, somewhere around there. Before hitting pit road and then obviously getting trapped a lap down. They might have actually gotten trapped 2 laps down as far back as they were. Let me check real quick just to make sure. No, they were 1 lap down. And Caruth actually couldn't even get the wave around either, so he's still lapped down in 25th. Ankrum is a lap down, probably lost a few extra spots on the restart as well. But yeah, Caruth was so far back that he ended up not being able to take the wave around. Either that or he fell 2 laps down and was only able to get 1 back. Corey Heim is slow. He's coming to pit road for an unscheduled stop.
Well, it was called, and Corey Heim is now serving as penalty.
As a driver, Brad, do you understand what he's saying? Or
Yeah,
just
I mean, you
pretty
can't
much?
see very well, so you're following the trucks in front of it. He's saying a truck in front of him moved out of line, and he was just following it. That's a bit. NASCAR is not seeing it the same way Corey is seeing it.
Now you just can't compound it by speeding on pit road when you're pressure.
Yes.
Fast, that's easy to do as well. So he's going to remain on the lead lap. I think pretty much the chances of winning are gone, no matter what happens in this race. But he could still get a good finish with the caution word to fly here. He's back up to speed ahead of the leaders.
For this battle for 4th,
But if the caution does not fly, Corey Heim's going to finish well outside of the top 10. Should stay on the lead lap, which means Caruth, Breidinger battling for the free pass spot for 24th. "25 laps to go for Carson Hocevar. Hocevar's got a 1.3 second lead over Byron. .2 seconds to Stuart Friesen and 2.8 seconds to Gio Ruggiero in fourth. Oh, trouble back straightaway. Two trucks go around. And one of them backs it against the inside retaining wall. That'd be the 44 of Bailey Curry. Connor Mosack also involved. Mosack was not on the lead lap. Curry was in 8th. Well, there's the caution Corey Heim needed, but man, oh man. Tony Breidinger going to get the free pass in 24th to get back on the lead lap. Both left side tires are flat on Curry's 44.
This is racing up off turn 2. Oh, you could see already around was the 44 Curry. The Mosack was slowing down, got hit from behind and spun around.
They're trying to avoid the 44 spinning out, and it looks like Chandler Smith got in the back of him. I'm sure Chandler couldn't see what's happening, you know.
Wild off turn 2, running right out next to that wall.
See, that's at full speed. It's a lot different from speed.
Being at 170 miles an hour, you can see that truck got loose. Like you said, Brad, now the 11 of Corey Heim is still in a hole.
See all the damage to the back of the car. Was that the contact over Chandler Smith?
Let's listen to the 44 radio.
When you can do that, Jamie, at that speed and have minimal damage, be able to race on, it's just refining your craft. We know these guys are just driving right on the edge of control. They're just giving it all they got, especially this late in the race, and it just slipped with Bailey, and they'll learn that, move on.
Bailey's not full-time in this truck, but gosh, we talk about him so often. He does such a nice job. And I give him an A for effort. That could have been entirely worse.
Yes. When you're living on the edge, though, that's what it has to do in these race cars. Race cars, race trucks. If there's margin, you're not driving hard enough. That's right. There should be zero margin, and sometimes you step over.
All right, so trucker's taking a breath here. It'll be 22 laps to go at the line.
Setting ourselves up for a really big restart here.
A really wild restart.
Yes.
It's been wild tonight since lap number 1. Let's take a look back. What is it starting to see it there? Our pole sitter, Jake Garcia, a little sideways, and then the contact going into turn 1.
A lot of good trucks in trouble right off the bat. Speaking of that, he had to.
He gets penalized for intentionally bringing out the caution. Meanwhile, Corey Heim picks up stage 1.
Issues for William Byron, leaving his pit box. Issues for Frankie Muniz, losing a tire.
But Byron hasn't had any other issues that we know of. Seems to be full song.
Another issue on pit road with Corey Heim. This was a big change in the race. You see the pickup broke.
And then Carson Hocevar established himself as the favorite. And caution during pit stops, and things just got all jumbled up.
Frankie Muniz goes around, and this is the latest incident that brought up the 7th caution of the night. Connor Mosack, Bailey Curry.
Almost synchronized spinning, wasn't it?
It sure was.
The highlight reel producers here in our booth, I think, deserve a little overtime pay.
That's right.
There has been a lot to show and talk about here today. No shortage of action.
What about that truck in 3rd place? We talked, Jamie, about the struggles of Stuart Friesen. He's, I think he would take a 3rd. and get out of here. But you know what? He's going to drive it like he stole it. He's not going to, you won't know he would take third right now. He's going to try to win this race.
What's going to be really interesting to me, and what I'll be looking for on the restart when we go back green here in the next few laps, is the restarter in the fourth position. They are probably going to be the ones that dictate what happens on this restart. If they get a good launch, and Michael, if they're able to keep the second place truck in that outside lane with good momentum by giving them a push, the outside lane will have a significant advantage here and might be able to defeat Carson Osvar if he picks the bottom lane. If they don't, Carson Osvar is most likely going to just drive off on this restart.
Well, Willie B will be on the outside of the front row, and looks like Gio Ruggiero will be behind Willie. Ben Rhodes taking the bottom, several trucks taking the top. You see pretty much 50-50, but more guys going to the top.
William Byron will restart on the front row. Amanda. I am told that Connors Village is watching along. That's 07 at the shot here as we wind down these laps here at Kansas Speedway. I was told that he sat next to Larry back on the way out here on the plane, and Larry told me that on one side of the table he had the laptop watching video from this race prior last year, and he had the other side looking at some SMT data. Just talked to his team asking for comparative lap times between him and Carson Hocevar. Not surprised to hear it, Josh.
Well, Stuart Friesen battled his way up to the third position during that last run. It's been a tough day for him during practice. He said that truck was not good. The good thing about it, though, he said they were on the both sides of their balance, so they were too tight at one point, too loose at one point. They knew in race where they needed to be to get this truck in position. Came over the radio just a little while ago, said the balance is finally neutral. They might have something to contend for a win during this last run, guys.
I like hearing that. For Stuart Friesen, did you see that? 68 races since his last win. You think he's a little hungry?
Very hungry. No, Stewart's on the gas.
What about that bright yellow truck on the row 4 there? Matt Craftsman has battled himself into a position in the top 10.
Here's what I'm watching, guys.
20 laps to go even on the restart. Green flag back in the air. Hocevar Byron on the front row. Gio Ruggiero outside row 2. Looks like he was spinning the tires with the truck in the 15 right behind him. Byron getting a big push, though, into the first turn still by Ruggiero. And Byron gets to the outside of our race leader, Carson Hocevar, while it's 3 wide for third place just behind him. Tanner Gray all clear for third. He's got to run after the 2, side drafting each other just in front. Here comes Gray to the bottom, 3 wide, but he gets blocked off by Hocevar. Byron wiggles in that outer line just a little bit, and that allows for Hocevar to clear high up turn 4. And he holds on for the time being.
Right. Carson Hocevar hangs on to it. William Byron, the 2016 winner here, trying to hang on for his second win at Kansas.
Williams' truck just doesn't quite look as good as Carson. Carson's truck able to carry that run down into 3 and 4 and just barely clear him off at turn 4. That was a big, big moment for him to seal his position in the lead.
Look at this battle. Tanner Gray going for it again. Look at this battle between teammates.
But Dawson Sutton making himself known in the top 5.
He had a penalty earlier, Michael.
2-lap penalty.
A 2-lap penalty, and now here he is, the rookie running up in the top 5. He and Gio Ruggiero, both rookies in the series.
Wow, did you see how fast Lane Hicks went through the center of that corner?
Rolling top.
Wow, he sustained it, took off, and is able to pull right up on the 17 truck.
And that goes back to the fact that, look at the lights are on. It's getting darker outside. That bottom lane's getting faster.
William Byron is using every trick he has in his book to try to close in. As Corey Heim works his way through the field.
Back in the top 10 already.
After that big penalty we saw right before this yellow.
The pass-through penalty, and here he is, Corey Heim doing Corey Heim things. 11th right now.
You got to think for Corey Heim, if he's able to get a top 10 out of a day where nothing seems to want to go his way, that would be a good win for him.
Another guy that needs a top 10 is Brandon Jones in that one truck. He's had a tough 2025 difference. He's got a good run going.
3 wide bat for 9.
Go ahead and call it 4.
Time says, excuse me.
He's got to get
Shot by all of them.
Unbelievable. Up to 9, just like that.
Oh, Brandon Jones, you see the arrow effect right there. He got right behind Corey Heim, lost the front end, had the lift.
You know, last week, Carson Hocevar jumped in the truck for the first time this season. And then on Sunday, what did he do? He started on pole for the first time in his Cup career. Now here he is leading this race, looking to bring home another Truck Series win.
Byron staying with him just a little bit better now.
Yeah, and also Lane Riggs is fourth. You see this behind these two, and Lane has closed right in on Tanner Gray.
He's been pretty fast. Remember, he got caught the lap down. Oh, he's pushing it hard, isn't he? Might go right up to the wall for turn 4. But Lane Riggs got caught the lap down in that green flag pit cycle and had the yellow. He's clawed his way back out of that here in the top 4.
So you see, just ahead of these two, the battle for the lead is really tightening up. Carson Hocevar's got it. William Byron wants it.
How's that quarter of a second?
Carson Hocevar has now led the most laps of the race, 61 and counting. As Corey Heim picks up another one, moves into 8th around Bend Road.
Thinking might get Sutton as well here off of turn 4.
Wow, what a turn. Able just to pin that thing on that white line.
Truck's a rocket for sure.
Really impressed with that 26 driver, Dawson Sutton. Doing a really nice job. He did race here last year. Michael finished in the top 5. Now he gets to come back to a track for the second time, and he's doing big things.
There's a lot of big things happening up front. I think Lane Riggs is the fastest truck on the track. He's just got to get past
that last lap.
Got to get past Tanner Gray to go up there and heat up the leaders. He's going to do it here.
And he does it. Lane Riggs to 3rd.
And despite running side by side for 3rd, still a really fast lap time for the 34th. He loves what he's doing right now.
Stuart Friesen slipped back a little bit to 6th. He's got a mirror full of Corey Heim.
See, he's got a winch.
Corey Heim should be able to get up to 5th. I don't think he's going to get any higher than that if it stays green to the end of the race. He's got about a 2.5 second gap to Tanner Gray in 4th. Unless Gray falls off enough, but he's definitely not catching the top 3 of Hocevar, Byron, Riggs. Top 4 right now has Carson Hocevar 0.7 of a second ahead of William Byron in 2nd. 1.7 seconds over Lane Riggs in 3rd, and 2.1 seconds back to Tanner Gray in 4th. 10 laps to go this time by at the start-finish line for Hocevar. Corey Heim with a big run off the high side. Gets to the inside of Friesen at the start-finish line as he battles him for 6th. And Friesen able to hold on at least to a certain extent for that spot. Still side by side into the first turn. I thought Heim was going to have more of a run off turn 4 than he ended up having. And in actuality, Corey Heim was not able to even complete the pass on Stuart Friesen. Hocevar about 0.2 quicker than William Byron that last lap. The lead is almost 1 second. Lap time's pretty even to the 3rd place truck of Riggs. Riggs was about 1/1000th of a second slower than Hocevar that last lap. Riggs has to get by William Byron first. Then he'll get a little bit more clean air on the nose until he gets closer to the back of the 7. Riggs had a very good long-run truck back in the beginning half of Stage 3 before the green flag pit stops ended up taking place. Very loose up off of turn 4 for Friesen, and Corey Heim finally clears for 6th. Gets by his teammate Giro Ruggiero, and he'll be up to the top 5 yet again here in no time. Slide job through turns 1 and 2 by Lane Riggs. He got very loose, but he was clear by quite a bit on William Byron. Trying to pick his momentum back up again as he continues to close on our race leader Carson Hocevar, even with passing the 07 to Byron. So with the 2 Cup regulars in the field trying to take down Corey Heim coming into the night, it is the second-year Truck Series driver Lane Riggs who's trying to put the charge to Carson Hocevar at the front of the pack and go for his first win of the 2025 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series season. Riggs had 2 wins in his rookie year last year, but missed the playoffs because both those wins didn't come until the postseason started. He already did not qualify. He does have a runner-up finish already this year at Homestead, trying to go for 1 spot better, though, here this evening. Last time by at the start-finish line, about 0.3 faster for Lane Riggs over Hocevar, that time by at the line. 6 laps to go. The gap is shrinking between first and second. Seen some wild finishes in the Cup Series races at Kansas the last couple of years. Maybe the Truck Series will have their turn here tonight and do just the same thing. Corey Heim, by the way, did get up to the 4th place position. He got by Gio Ruggiero. He's about a second off of Byron for 3rd. And Tanner Gray is very slow on the racetrack and dropped out of the 4th place position. I wonder if he's going to make it back to pit road. He is very slow. If Gray can't get his truck back under power and he is not able to get to pit road, we will see a caution that could force overtime for the 2nd consecutive week here for the Truck Series. Gray is creeping. And he's in turn 4, ever so close to pit road. 3 to go this time by. Gap is still about 1 second between Hocevar and Riggs. By the way, it showed 3 seconds off the lead on Heim a little bit ago. On the FS1 graphic, it's 7 seconds, actually. But he is in 4th. And Byron is still 2 seconds off the lead. And 1 second back of Riggs. 3 to go. Another big lap for Riggs. And he's up against the wall off turn 2, but he's still digging. Next question is, are the tires going to hold up on the right side of that 34 truck? Because he is fastly approaching the 7 of Carson Hocevar. Banged it off the wall a little bit. He's still running him down. 2 to go this time by. It's Hocevar versus Riggs for the win. Assuming it obviously stays green. Couple of lap trucks down on the bottom of the racetrack as the leaders work their way through 3 and 4. Hocevar gave up a full lane on the top, and Riggs has a run off 4. White flag in the air this time by, 1 lap to go. Hocevar trying to use the lap truck as a pick to the bottom. Riggs couldn't go all the way to the apron. Now they'll race their way into turns 1 and 2. Riggs to the inside of Hocevar. He leans on the left rear corner, apparently tags him, and both against the wall. Byron's still 2 seconds off the lead, and he's charging hard. Down the back straightaway. His Riggs going to have another shot at it. I think he's going to be too far back. Oh my gosh, what a save by both drivers. And Carson Hocevar is going to hold on to win it with the bird flipping off Riggs out the window as he crosses the start-finish line. What the heck happened there? Oh my gosh. Jeez. Hocevar wins it. Wasn't too happy about the way Lane Riggs raced him for it, but hey, they both held on. They both finished 1st and 2nd. You know, I guess when you see something like that, he still got the bird out the window. I think he's more ticked off than happy. I don't know. We'll see in the post-race interview here from Carson Hocevar. Jeez, what a finish. Well, Hocevar is burning it down on the front stretch. Maybe it was just Hocevar saying he was number 1 tonight. He himself is number 1. I'm surprised Hocevar gave the entire top lane of the racetrack to Lane Riggs through 3 and 4 on the 2nd to last lap, which gave Riggs a huge run down the front stretch and getting into turn 1. Had the lap truck of Bailey Curry not been on the bottom on the apron, staying out of the way, I think Riggs would have went to the apron to try to make a move. Instead, he had to wait till turn 1. And it was a little too late, but he tried it anyway. Contact with both trucks. They both slide against the wall, and Hocevar holds on to win.
Whatever.
Wow.
It's the tall one. Certainly the tallest driver in the field.
It's going to be a good interview.
Motorsports has now won 3 races with Cup Series drivers in their trucks.
They got 2 all-star trucks, the 07 and the 7. And they battled till the end. William Byron in the 07 finished third. Where's Lane Riggs? Finished second again at Canvas. What an effort.
What a run. What a drive that young man put on.
I think the fans like what they saw tonight.
I'm glad you said your heart was racing because my man's
Yes. Wow. What a fun. I want to hear what Carson has to say about this.
Carson Osavar, no sweat on him. He is the winner, and he's with our Amanda Busick.
No sweat, but I think you can see that massive smile from Carson Hocevar as he excites the crowd here at Kansas Speedway. And man, I would love to know what was going through your mind as Lane Riggs was chasing you down. You guys contacted there on that last lap. How did you save that, Carson?
I just thought I'd make it entertaining. Were you all entertained? No, it's yeah, that 34 truck was super good. Yeah, this truck was really good on the short runs, and I didn't think he would get to us for how far back he was, but he was super good. And yeah, it's been a while since I've been in like a finish like that where it's just all out there. So credits to him. I know he's going for everything there, and I'm shocked. I thought it was threw it away and that bad, but I figured I'd kill it right here.
I did hear your team tell you to save that engine, that they got to use it. But I want to go back to the beginning of the race. You guys had to come down on pit road very early there to protect the right rear end, the tire. What's the importance of maintaining composure in those moments?
I knowing that it's not a season, right? Knowing that I get only 4 shots at this, right? It's it's win or bust. So just taking care of it is most important, right? If that left rear blew, it'd just feel really stupid if it takes us out of it. So big thanks to first off, Alnice, Cody Fall for giving me the opportunity to make that phone call. Mom and Dad, I love you. My grandma passed away a few years ago, so Grandpa, this is for you. Yeah, it's super cool. Thank you so much, Jeff Dickerson. I got to drive the 7 car one time, and that changed my life. And it looks pretty good when we get to drive the 7 a little bit more often.
In front of this crowd on their feet, Carson Hocevar, your winner here in Kansas.
Lane Riggs ties the season best with a second place finish, man. You were ripping it towards the end, ripping up by the wall. Got to Carson Hocevar, but couldn't get around him. Made some contact. What more could you have done? Man, I gave it my all. We were really down bad with the track position there, and about midway through the third stage, and we were about to take the lead, and we did the green flag pit stop. That really hurt us, and had to come from 16th all the way into that green flag run and get all the way back to him. But yeah, last lap, I got to him, got into him a little bit. We both hit the wall. He won the race, and I think he was mad at me. I think he flipped me off all the way down the front stretch coming to the checker. But that's bad when you win the race, right? But it's all good. It's great to race with the Cup guys, and I think that just proves that I'm going to be there one day. Second place finish for Lane Riggs.
I love that. And I agree with him, don't you?
Kansas just keeps putting on banger after banger. And we still got a NASCAR Cup Series race tomorrow as well, which should be another banger. Here is the finishing results to tonight's Heart of Healthcare 200 at the Kansas Speedway. Carson Hocevar with a margin of victory of 0.2 of a second over Lane Riggs. Riggs in the second place position. William Byron third. Corey Heim comes back to finish in fourth. And then Gio Ruggiero rounds out the top 5 and 5th. Stuart Friesen in 6th. Brandon Jones 7th. Jake Garcia 8th. Caden Honeycutt 9th. And Grant Enfinger rounds out the top 10. Daniel Hemrick in 11th. Ben Rhodes 12th. Matt Mills 13th. Matt Craft in 14th and 15th for Ty Majeski. Dawson Sutton in 16th. Tyler Reichert 17th. Chandler Smith 18th. 19th for Connor Mosack. And Andres Perez rounds out the top 20. Tony Breidinger, last truck on the lead lap in 21st, and Raja Crew 22nd, a lap down. Cody Dennison 23rd. 24th for Spencer Boyd. Jack Wood 25th. 26th place finish for Morgan Baird. Bailey Curry 27th. Tanner Gray ended up falling out of power there towards the end of the race. Finished 28th, 6 laps down. Frankie Muniz 29th. Nathan Bird 30th. And Luke Baldwin rounds out the field. In total, we had 4 DNFs today. Gray, the last of which, and again, came late in the race. He was in 4th before the DNF. Here's William Byron moments ago, got caught up with from Josh Sims.
First we could go okay for like 10 to 15. I would just build really tight all throughout the day. So I felt like I had a chance there, after the restart. I felt like my stuff refired pretty good and I was able to run some different lanes, but then I just started to lose the front tires and struggle. But there at the end, I just kind of put it on the fence and it felt like I was making some ground back up, maybe a little bit, but was just hoping they would crash. So, but they didn't. So it was exciting for my seat for sure. And just appreciate these guys letting me come do it. HendrickCars.com, obviously, Chevrolet, Spire, all their guys. It was fun. I enjoyed it. The truck, it drives a lot different, which was kind of fun to slide it around, and can't do much of that tomorrow. So just gotta kind of reacclimate tomorrow, but just excited for tomorrow as well.
And William Byron will have a chance to try and get a win in the Cup race out here tomorrow, Amanda.
Yeah, Josh, I was just talking to Corey Heim about his fourth place finish after everything that he battled today. And he was like, I would rather be first. How painful are these, Corey?
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, like you said, for all the adversity we had today, finishing fourth is a good day, I guess. If you told me I was going to finish fourth with like 25 to go, coming from 25th, 21st, whatever it was at the end there, that'd be a pretty good ending, I guess, or last little stretch. But just obviously the penalty on my part at the end kind of took us out of it. It was really hard to judge which lane to follow there. I didn't know if the lane was moving up or down, and made the wrong call on my part and got penalized for it. So I'm on coming from the back, 2 other times. So regardless of that, just really proud of that truck and garage. Safe Light Toyota. This Fossil Love Blue truck was awesome today. Just needed to, just execute better all around. These truck races are so short that if you have one thing go wrong late, it's pretty much over for us. So all in all, a decent day for points and everything. Just got to execute better at the end on my part.
Tough watching Carson celebrate behind you?
It's all right. We get to racing tomorrow, so we're fine.
That's a great point. I was just going to say that Corey Heim will race in the Cup Series race tomorrow.
Well, that was a dig. Thank you all for tuning in for tonight's thriller of a NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race at Kansas Speedway in the heart of healthcare for 200 here today at the Kansas Speedway. We'll be live again tomorrow for the NASCAR Cup Series race beginning at 2:30 p.m. Eastern with our pre-race coverage. Thank you so much for watching. As always, be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. Hit the like button if you haven't done so yet. We're going to have a video posted here shortly of the finish of that race because, wow, what a thrilling finish to what was overall, I thought, a pretty good Truck Series race. Other race stats here as we go off the air. We did finish under the regulation length of 200 miles. 134 laps. The lapse time on the race, 1 hour, 48 minutes, and 48 seconds with 7 cautions, 8 lead changes, 33 laps under the yellow. So, again, congratulations to Carson Hocevar. Good luck for him tomorrow. Congrats also to Kyle Larson for qualifying on the pole during our practice qualifying run earlier today. That we streamed that several hours ago. So, doubleheader in the books for a Saturday main event tomorrow. Should be a fun one at the Kansas Speedway. See you tomorrow, everybody. Have a good, safe rest of your Saturday night.